Ever think about a career that mixes knowing the world with something, well, down to earth?
You got it.
Today, we're going deep on a job that does just that. Becoming an import-export specialist, focusing on agricultural machinery and equipment.
Yeah, it's more than just moving tractors around, right?
Way more. We've got RoleCatcher's guides to help us out. Their career guide and their interview guide. So you aced getting your resume in for one of these jobs, they want to interview you. Now what?
First off, congrats. Getting that interview is a big step. And yeah, don't sweat the interview part. We'll break down what they're looking for. Plus, we'll talk about how RoleCatcher's AI can seriously help prep.
Before we get to the interview, though, let's paint the picture. What does an import-export specialist in this area, ag machinery and equipment, what do they actually DO all day?
Well, the heart of it, eyes moving that stuff around, getting it across borders. But there's a bunch more to it.
Like what?
You got to be a pro at all the custom stuff, the paperwork, knowing regulations inside and out. That's where the specialist part comes in.
The guide mentions working with customs officials, freight forwarders. Sounds intense.
Oh, it can be. Deadlines, regulations, people all over the world you got to work with. It's fast-paced, for sure.
So knowledge is key.
Totally. And it's not just about the company you work for. Farmers, ag businesses, they need this equipment to do their thing. You're a part of that whole chain.
All right, so we get the job itself, but now's the nerve-wracking part, the interview. What kind of questions will they ask?
Here's one they almost always throw out. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a tough client or a really difficult situation. How'd you handle it?
Classic. So what are they really getting at with a question like that?
They want to see how you solve problems, your communication style, how you handle pressure. It's a behavioral question. They're looking for more than just a story.
So what kind of example should someone have ready for this?
Think of a time something went wrong, and ideally, it connects to import-export, shipment delayed, a client who's super unhappy.
Okay, so we've got the situation. Then how should we answer it?
Use the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. Set the scene, say what you had to do, what you actually did, and then what happened because of it.
What kind of results should we be aiming to tell them about?
The stuff that proves you're a problem solver. Maybe you made the client happy in the end, or you got that shipment moving faster than anyone thought possible.
What if you're newer to all this? You haven't had those crazy situations yet.
Still gotta highlight skills. Think about times you had to work under pressure or fix a disagreement. Be creative to find a solution. Even if it wasn't import-export directly, the skills transfer.
Okay, that's one question down. What else do they like to ask?
Oh, this one's a bit of a head-scratcher. What are your greatest strengths and your biggest weaknesses?
Ugh, I hate that one. How do you talk about weaknesses without sounding like you shouldn't get the job?
Spin it. Weaknesses are areas to grow. Don't say, I'm bad at public speaking. Say, I'm working on my presentations. I'm looking for chances to get better at it.
Makes you sound way more self-aware, for sure.
Right. And for strengths, keep it related to the job. Attention to detail, communicating well, being able to work on your own.
So tailor it, basically. Show them what they need.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be huge. It helps you tweak your answers based on the actual job you want.
Okay, so we've covered some of the basics. But let's get into some more of those tricky interview questions.
Yeah.
What else should our listeners be ready for?
Well, this one goes right to your import-export knowledge,
Yep.
They'll probably ask, what are Incoterms and how do they work in import and export deals?
Inco what now? Remind me what those are all about.
Basically, they're like the rule book, right? Set by the International Chamber of Commerce. They lay out who does what, buyer and seller, in a global sale, costs, risks, all that.
So like, who's on the hook if the goods get damaged while they're on a ship? Who pays for insurance? That kind of thing.
Exactly. They prevent confusion, make international trade smoother. If you want to be an import-export specialist, you got TTA know these things.
So how do you answer this in an interview? Should you just like recite the definition?
No way. Show them you get it, not just that you memorized it. Define them, sure, but then give examples. Real-world stuff.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, imagine you're exporting ag machinery using the CIF Incoterm. That's cost, insurance, and freight. You, the exporter, are covering those things until it hits the destination port. But once it's on the ship, the buyer takes on the risk.
Makes it much more concrete, yeah.
And be ready for them to dig deeper. They might ask about specific Incoterms or throw out scenarios, maybe even compare different ones and what they mean.
Okay, so study up. No, just skimming the surface.
Oh, and the RoleCatcher Career Guide actually has a whole section on Incoterms. Super helpful if you need to brush up.
Let's switch gears to something a bit more stressful, shall we? What about the question? How would you deal with a shipment that shows up at the port and it's damaged?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. They want to see how you think under pressure, how you solve problems when things go wrong.
I think I'd freeze up, honestly. How do you answer that and sound calm, collected, all that?
First off, acknowledge it's bad. But then, jump right into problem-solving mode. Show them you've got a plan.
Give us the words. Walk us through it.
You could say, damaged goods are never good, obviously, but gotta handle it fast and professionally. Step one, I'd document everything. Photos, notes, the works, then straight to the phone. Insurance, the supplier, freight forwarder. Everyone needs to know ASAP.
So take charge, get the info out there.
Yep. And then you talk next steps. Why'd it get damaged? Can we return it? Get a discount? Find a replacement? Get everyone working together to fix it.
It's showing you can deal with a crisis, not just try to prevent them.
You got it. And again, RoleCatcher's Guide, the interview one, gives tips on how to structure this answer, how to make your problem-solving skills shine through.
All right, here's one where I bet a lot of people blank. How do you keep up with all the changes in import-export rules and regulations? It feels like it's always changing.
It's true, it's a challenge. But you have to stay current. Otherwise, mistakes happen, things get delayed, it costs everyone time and money.
So how do we prove we're on top of it all?
Talk about what you're already doing. Mention industry magazines, websites, those groups you follow like FIATA or the WTO.
The career guide also says newsletters, going to industry events, that stuff.
All great ways to learn. And don't forget those certifications, those special programs. Mentioning something like a CITP, Certified International Trade Professional, that stands out.
It's showing them you're not just keeping up, you're out there learning all the time.
Right, never stop in this field. Okay, ready for one that can make people squirm a bit. Tell me about a time you had to negotiate, either with a supplier or a customer, to get a good outcome. Why is negotiation such a big deal in this line of work? Because you're always dealing with people, different companies, often in different countries. Everyone's got their own goals, their own way of doing things.
Sounds like you got to be a diplomat almost.
Kinda, yeah. For this question, pick a story where you had to figure things out, find common ground, and everyone ended up happy. Show off those communication skills, how you see things from the other side, how you play the long game.
Does it have to be some huge company-saving negotiation?
Nope. Even if you just got a small discount or convince someone to deliver faster. It works if you tell it right.
So it's about the process, how you adapt, how you make win-win situations.
And you know what? RoleCatcher's AI can help with this one too. Tweak your story and make sure it's going to really hit home with the interviewer.
Okay, here's one that seems easy, but maybe it's not. Why do you want to work in the ag machinery and equipment industry specifically? Like, are they just waiting to hear, I love tractors?
Haha, maybe. But they want more. They want to see you're genuinely into this, not just any import-export gig.
So connect your own interests to what the company does.
Exactly. What gets you excited about this industry? Global impact. Helping farmers feed the world. The tech. Maybe you grew up on a farm or helped out with one.
That personal touch always helps you stand out.
It's got to be real enthusiasm, right? Show them you're not job hunting, you're starting a career you'll love.
All right, one more that it's a bit of a head scratcher. What challenges do you think you'll face in this role, and how will you overcome them? Feels like a trap.
It can, but spin it to your advantage. Show them you're self-aware, you can solve problems, you've thought about this.
So don't pretend it'll be easy.
Right. RoleCatcher's Guide, it lists some downsides of this career. Regulations changing constantly, customs delays, coordinating across time zones.
That's a lot. How do we convince them we're ready?
For each challenge, have a solution ready. Regulations changing. Talk about learning constantly, newsletters, courses.
Customs delays. Mention your tracking skills, perfect paperwork, good relationships with officials.
Exactly. Proactive, prepared. And yeah, RoleCatcher's AI can refine these answers too. Make you sound confident and ready to handle anything.
All right, let's get a little more technical, shall we? What about this question? Tell me about your experience using software or systems for import-export operations. What are they getting at here?
Time to show off your tech skills. They want to know, are you comfortable using all those tools that help manage the import-export process?
So more than just, I know how to use a computer.
Way more. Be specific. What industry standard software have you used? SAP Descartes. Maybe even some custom system your company had. Tell them how you've used it for documentation, tracking shipments, making sure everything's compliant with the rules.
So give us a concrete example of how you'd actually say that.
Okay, something like, in my last role, I used software name to, automate all those import-export documents,
Yeah.
saved a ton of time and prevented errors. Or I helped set up a system for tracking shipments in real time, used software name, and it made everyone's life easier because they could actually see what was happening.
Makes it sound like you actually know what you're doing.
Right. And if you've used anything newer like blockchain or AI in import-export, definitely mention it. Shows you're ahead of the curve.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help make sure you're highlighting the right stuff for the specific job, right?
You got it. Okay, let's dive deeper into customs with this one. Tell me what you know about customs valuation procedures. Sounds kind of dry. What's it all about?
Yeah, what are they asking here?
It's more than just putting a price on a tractor. Customs valuation, it's a whole process. International rules, national rules, gotta know how to value goods so duties and taxes are calculated right.
So how do you nail this answer?
Show them you understand the basics, the different ways to value stuff, then talk about the paperwork involved. Have you prepped customs declarations before, classified goods, dealt with disputes about valuations, stuff like that?
Should we mention the WTO agreement, the one of the customs valuation?
Absolutely. Knowing that shows you're not just winging it, but real examples are what will really make them remember you. And again, RoleCatcher's AI, super helpful for crafting a strong answer that shows what you know.
So it's proving you know the rules, but also how it all works in the real world.
Exactly. All right, last one, and it's all about the future. What are your career goals in this field, in import-export?
More to it than just, I want to be the best, right? What are they listening for here?
Ambition. Where do you see yourself going? How does this job fit into your plan? They want to know you're in it for the long haul, not just a quick paycheck.
So how do you make your goals sound, I don't know, specific, exciting?
Think about what you really want. Want to specialize in something, like customs or logistics. See yourself running a team or handling massive import-export operations for a huge ag company.
The RoleCatcher Guide, it talks about different career stages, right? From entry level all the way up to senior specialist, more responsibility, more room to grow.
Use that. Maybe you want to master the basics now, then move to tougher projects, then eventually lead the whole show.
Mention those certifications too, right? Shows you're always learning.
Yeah, it's all about showing that you're not just filling a job, you're building a whole career that you're excited about. All right, we've covered a lot. What it takes to be an import-export specialist, how to answer those tough interview questions. But before we go, let's hit that RoleCatcher AI one more time.
It's more than just the guides, right?
Way more. This AI can help you tailor your answers, practice how you say them, get feedback that's specific to the job you want.
Like a personal coach for your interview.
Basically, you type in your answers, the AI analyzes them. Did you answer what they're really asking? Is it clear, easy to understand? You can even record yourself talking, get feedback on how you sound, your body language, all that.
So it's not just memorizing, you're building skills and confidence to actually nail that interview for that job.
Now remember, an interview goes both ways. You're checking them out too. So go in prepared, feeling good, and curious about what they do. Use everything we talked about as a starting point, then dive deep into RoleCatcher. They've got tons of stuff to help you succeed in this field. It's a cool one, for sure.
What I think's so cool is you can take something you love, like agriculture, and combine it with this global expertise. It's a field that's always changing, always challenging, but also really rewarding. Head to RoleCatcher, make a free account, and check out their career guides, interview prep tools, and all that AI stuff. Good luck out there.